Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Jaime and Fuego here.
And we're here to do another in-theater review for 2016 for you guys. This time we're going to be talking about 10 Cloverfield Lane.
But was it originally 10 Cloverfield Lane? Well, we will save that for the spoilers, but this is the film that J.J. Abrams basically was like, this could fit into the mythos.
Producing on the DL.
Indeed. And with, less than 2 months of forewarning, right? It was
crazy.
Like, here you go, it's right at you.
It's like, here's a trailer. Oh, here's the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really neat. I actually really dug that approach, right? We haven't seen anything like that ever, or since I've been alive. I don't remember anyone saying, oh, here's the trailer, 2 months later, here's the movie.
Yeah.
I just don't see that very often, and I dug the hell out of it, especially being a creature movie guy, and we're not spoiling anything about this movie. We are saying that this is adjacent to the original Cloverfield movie. The original Cloverfield, of course, also produced by J.J. Abrams, but directed by Matt Reeves. So this was basically a adjacent movie. It was in the Cloverfield family, not a direct sequel, and this one was a bunker movie. At its core, it was a bunker movie, which I've talked about numerous times in recent reviews even.
You don't like them very much.
Not a big bunker movie fan.
This.
Not a big bunker movie fan. So essentially, the movie is about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who you guys have seen. Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Also, she was the lead female character in the remake/reboot of The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. She is a great actress, good pedigree. Her combined with John Goodman, the acting was great in this movie, and I think that's a great place to jump right in. Well, actually, you know what? Before we do, let's say, overall impressions, I like the movie a lot. I was not expecting to because I was thinking it was going to be a bunker movie. Luckily, it saved itself in a way that I truly was hoping it would. Fuego, overall impressions.
Biggest thing for me is, unfortunately, this was a mad disappointment because I was trying through the entirety to love this film. Yeah, and that's the thing, there were like certain affiliations which between these three characters that you realize, one is John Goodman, one is the Hick-Todd gentleman that I feel so bad about not being able to recall, but then you also have the lovely Ramona, and the three of them turn out to be the only ones in this lower subterranean bunker, and they say there's no air that's breathable upstairs, like there is nothing where you can survive up there, so we have to make the best of it, and that's not exactly what's going on, right, Cecil?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the whole point. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character has to decide, does she trust John Goodman and what he's saying about the air being poisoned outside? And, the plot progresses. We don't want to give away too much, but there are twists and turns. Fuego seems to be disappointed by the twists and turns. I actually was not disappointed by the twists and turns. It helped keep me engaged in the movie, whereas I would have probably checked out rather quickly, as I do in a lot of bunker movies. So
I can clarify if being able to speak more liberally. So
okay, well, we'll talk about that in the spoiler
Indeed
section.
We shall,
so,
but
for now, let's talk about the acting overall.
Performance-wise, dude,
John Goodman, I think,
good.
stole the show. He was amazing. He
was menacing, but yet halfway through, you started to think he was endearing. You started to think, man, he's actually looking out for me. Not that we're going to say either way if that was not the case, but
there's something.
I think deep down he really did care, regardless of where his character went in the end.
Exactly, and the acting proved that, which is amazing to see an actor pull off well, he seems on the surface level perhaps to be a bad guy, but then when you get to know him and hear his story and talk about, hear him talk about the way things are out in the real world.
Especially when you hear the beats of the other main character, who's the one who was like, well, it's in the trailer, so we're just going to spell it out. He's like, no, I fought my way to get in here.
What happened to your arm? Were you trying to escape?
I was trying to get in.
Yes,
so
the Emmett character has a busted wing, and he says, no, I was trying to get in. I hurt my arm trying to get in.
Yeah, whereas the other character, Ms. Lovely Ramona
just wakes up inside.
Yeah, she's there.
Exactly.
Cement enclosure, handcuffed.
Exactly. So there's certain things that we can talk about, certain things we can't talk about, again, without spoiling it. We're going to save the effects towards the end of the review. The effects were there, though.
Yes.
I will say the effects were there. They were both practical and CG effects. And beyond that, we're not going to say very much other than I thought they worked well for the movie.
Very tastefully done. You know, it was there when it needed to be, which is the most important part. But
didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
So beyond that, without getting into spoilers, we can talk about the music and the sound design.
We have to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the sound design was phenomenal in this.
And there's the iconic trailer that Cecil was not so fond of after hearing that was a Tiffany song, right? Wasn't that a Tiffany song? No, guys, that was actually
blah 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 blah.
Yeah. He doesn't recall.
No, because I had 3 sisters growing up, so I've heard this. You basically, you could add this song.
He was running just as fast as he could away from this song.
Exactly. You put this right next to Walk Like an Egyptian, and you have My Life in the 80s dealing with 3 sisters. So, wasn't a huge fan of those songs. There was some other classic tunes in there as well. John Goodman has his jukebox that they go back to a few times.
Total throwback, but it's just
the sound design is what I wanted to talk about more so than the music, because there was sound design. You had Mary Elizabeth Winstead listening a lot in the movie, trying to figure out when John Goodman might be coming to check her out, and then there was the sound of the stuff above, the
where
big
she
booms.
thinks that there's like cars driving above,
or
and
choppers flying by.
We're not gonna say if it was creatures or choppers or cars or whatever. But,
you don't know what it is.
You have no clue, and yet she has her theories about it. And one thing, at least slightly negative, that I have to mention is that she had that perfect eye makeup the entire
whole time. True.
Yeah, which
didn't even occur to me, but you're right.
Which was kind of bugging me a little bit. I was like, oh, she's probably not had the intention or ability to reapply, but damn, did she look good the entire way?
That makes sense. No, it's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But you know what? I think overall you can see I enjoyed the movie a bit more than Fuego.
Yeah.
But let's give Fuego an opportunity to talk about why. So here we go, guys. We're going to transition into the spoiler section of this movie. So if you don't want to know why we like this movie or didn't like this movie, shut it off now, go watch it, and then bookmark this video, come back and watch what we thought of it. So let's get into it. Fuego, why didn't you like this movie?
So I think my last point was like kind of a segue about just the illogicality of just her eyes looking so beautiful and so pretty. But even beyond that, man, some of the segues of, just not trying to kill Goodman and steal his keys. It's
when she got the upper hand. There were a couple times she got the upper hand.
And just the illogical trusting of certain characters of other characters, and yet this guy starts to realize when he starts chatting with the haughty lady that, okay, maybe I shouldn't have tried to, hide myself out in this particular spot. But then he doesn't try to challenge her with him when they're like grabbing salt shakers.
You're talking about
and
Emmett,
pepper,
you mean?
and yes, exactly right. So when they started to like work together, you saw the tide turning, and yet John Goodman was too trusting. He was too just kind of accepting, and a lot of those plot twists just didn't work for me so much, because I felt like somebody who thought right on their feet would have just like persuaded, beaten the shit out of his head early on or something. Sorry for the profanity.
It wasn't far off from that, because basically at one point, the first thing I want to spoil is that the whole time, Emmett and Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, Michelle, are trying to figure a way out. And so Mary Elizabeth Winstead is doing the research again, and she finds a book that's like a Doomsday Preppers book, which fits in with John Goodman's character and the stuff that he's set up in this bunker. And it's basically how to create essentially a hazmat suit and a gas mask. And so they're creating sort of these homemade gas masks things, then this whole suit, so one of them can go and check out the outside and see if it's actually deadly and stuff like that.
I obviously misread though, because I thought that they saw that in one of those stupid teen bop female magazines.
It was a survival book.
I'm
that
obviously
she saw that
an idiot that they saw that in.
No, she saw that in a survival book, so it made sense to me. So basically they're hatching this plot, and John Goodman sort of gets wind of it, because he doesn't play a dumb character.
No, not at all.
And so he gets wind of it, and he basically confronts them in this really awesome way, where he basically says, hey, I need both of your help. He shows them this hidden compartment that's got this barrel in it, this giant barrel. And he's like, I need your help.
I almost thought that he was being overly trusting of them himself, though.
Oh, but I knew he had a plan. So
really, I didn't think his backup plan was as trusting as he was, like, I don't know, overextending himself. Maybe maybe a little bit.
But basically, he convinces them. They bring this barrel out, and he pulls the top off, and it's basically filled with this acid. Basically, he confronts them and says, "I know you guys are doing something. What are you guys doing?" And the guy decides to be chivalrous and noble and steps up, and Emmett says, I was trying to come up with, because John Goodman finds that they have his scissors, which they were using to cut up this fabric into this hazmat suit.
Yeah.
And he says, what were you doing with this? The guy steps up, thinks he's being noble, and says, I was trying to create a weapon to try and take your gun. And John Goodman says, and he says, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
John Goodman says, I appreciate your
like,
apology.
Accepts and everything.
I accept your apology, but all of a sudden, the gun shows up and boom, shoots the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Kills Emmett.
He psychs us out.
Absolutely. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead is left shaken, completely freaked out that John Goodman, he's unhinged.
It's the only time he was menacing in the entire movie, though.
I thought he was menacing when he stopped the conversation at the dinner table.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, and also when he first joined her in that little concrete encased compartment, which was basically doubling as her room.
Right.
So I mean, shit.
Absolutely. So basically, the Emmett gets it in the face, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead has to life or death figure out a way out, and basically.
And this is my negative.
Go ahead.
That I have to mention.
Go ahead.
This film was not originally intended to be Cloverfield. You know, it was kind of a masked last minute, which is probably why we didn't hear about it until 2 months ago.
Possibly, yeah.
You know, I have a sneaking suspicion, and that's because even on AMC Movie Talk like 2.5 years ago, as I was reminded just the other day as I was watching the program, they talked about John Goodman and the girl she was supposed to be paired in this film where it was like bunker status and it was like post-war fallout, World War III type thing. It was obviously rebranded, which is very strange, and yet I think they're making a mad push in the near future for like full-on Cloverfield stuff. If they're gonna take this and add some additional scenes maybe halfway through at the end, I mean, this film could function by itself without the stuff we saw in the last 20 minutes, right?
It could, but I like the fact that they did what they did, yes.
Did you think it was better because of it?
Yes, I did. I think it elevated the movie. So basically what we're talking about is the final big spoiler is that,
we're in that spoiler territory.
It's in the Cloverfield universe, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead does escape the bunker, and when she gets topside, you find out she sees a ship a long way away that she thinks is perhaps a helicopter that's going to help her.
Which I have to interject real quick. He remembers the Cloverfield original film. I do not. I'm like, we're the two dueling sides of the consumerism, right? There's those who remember the original film, which was a found footage, right?
Yep. It was found footage, and it was a giant monster movie. There wasn't a giant monster in this, but basically what she finds...
a hint of it, though.
A little bit, but what she finds is that there's been an invasion of some kind. When she gets topside, the thing that she thinks is a helicopter, there's an explosion behind her, and it starts to come towards her, and when it does, something, a rope or a vine or some kind of living thing drops something, something organic drops something into the field as this thing is flying towards her, and you see that it's not like any ship that we have. So there's an alien spacecraft flying towards her, and it's dropped something, and it's this creature that's on this, that's like a giant tigerish type creature, but freaky looking. And it starts chasing her around, and it becomes a creature movie for the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, which is very odd.
I loved it. That's what I was hoping it would be. But it's Cloverfield. They branded it for a reason that way. And it didn't do anything out of step, in my opinion. It did exactly
I can agree with
what the Cloverfield brand what people should anticipate from the Cloverfield brand. I thought it folded into the universe beautifully.
Okay, this is our Siskel and Ebert moment, because I felt that this was very much like Sunshine, where it totally threw off the tone of the entire film, and therefore it just further degraded the tone of this into the ground for me, because, dude, I loved 2/3 of this movie. I loved it. And even as they were trying to go along with the illogicalities and just the silliness and the conveniencies of some of the storytelling aspects in the script,
but it made it
okay,
not
I
your
can deal
typical
with
bunker movie. It made it not. Every bunker movie's done that.
It's been
that bunker movie. They gave it context and they gave it a reason. Like, here's why they're in the bunker. There's actually wacky shit. There's aliens about us trying to kill us.
How many times, though, should they have just smashed John Goodman in the face where he wasn't paying attention and he trusted them?
Well, in fairness, to spoil it, she did escape him. In the trailer, you see her trying to make a break for it. The thing she sees through the window is a woman whose skin is essentially melting off.
That was
so she has nothing to do but believe John Goodman.
That was the turning point right there. But damn, this was a very good movie, much more so than I anticipated. Kind of Twilight Zone-ish, I must admit.
A little bit.
Or maybe
You can
like
see
Black Mirror,
It's got that
a
type
self-encompassed.
of, it's got that type of twist towards the end.
Yeah,
So,
big time.
all in all, I think that pretty much covers the movie. You guys, if this interests you,
Watch
go see it.
it.
If you don't like found footage movies, go see it because
not
it's not
found
that.
footage,
It's
yeah.
not that. It's in the universe, but it's not filmed the same way. So check it out.
JJ is hinting that we have another one that's coming on the horizon, so who knows? We'll see how this performs.
Hopefully so. So thanks very much for watching our long and spoiler-filled review of 10 Cloverfield Lane, you guys. Let us know in the comments below what you think. If you're excited about it, if you haven't watched it, if our opinion has changed you from wanting to see it, or if you have seen it, what'd you think? Do you agree with us? Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. I've been Cecil Laird.
Indeed, I've been Jaime Fuego. Gracias.
And until next time, remember, stay scared.